The following Defending Our America episode is presented without commercial interruption by Sig Sauer.
See the explosion, the force going all the way through the building.
I was working the day 9/11 happened, and I worked graveyard that night. Our country was on lockdown, and it was really eerie as a cop to see that. Nobody was moving. Everybody was locked in their houses. They were uncertain of what was going on.
9/11. They were told that there was a possibility, a strong possibility. Somebody along the chain didn't listen or didn't think it was possible.
You don't look to the guy in the ivory tower that's a theorist. You go to the people that, hey, this may not fit to your theory, but I'm telling you this is what's going on. And unfortunately, all too often, that doesn't happen.
I took a training course in 1997 that put this out there. On the front of this magazine was these Twin Towers and this threat of Osama bin Laden. We knew for so long, and how did it break down? Everybody said, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. No, really, it might come. And our guys got complacent, and it became an afterthought. Mm-hmm. Well, there's always a threat, there's always a threat, there's always a threat. You know, maybe there's a threat, maybe there's not a threat. So when all that information started coming around, we worked on the jobs that we could work, and we put the information on the back burner.
There was a lot of places the ball was dropped. There were fewer than 50 air marshals working for the United States prior to 9/11. I trained with them 3 weeks before 9/11 at their compound in Atlantic City. Fewer than 50. The number was actually classified. After that, there's 5,000, so we're reactionary. All right. The problem also is that in 1994, there was a hijacking in France, Marseille Air France plane. It was Algerian terrorists, and they were going to destroy the Eiffel Tower with a civilian commercial aircraft filled with fuel. Then there was the Bojinka plot a few years later, which also was going to fly 12 aircraft and fly them across targets, either blow them up over the ocean with all the passengers being killed or fly them into city targets and destroy as much as possible. So they had been trying to do this for a long time.
Zacharias Moussaoui was arrested by FBI agents, and he had a laptop that they seized. And unfortunately, in the FBI, we're very strict about rules. You can't look at somebody's personal property until you have probable cause to look at that. And I say unfortunately because it would have been nice to look at that, because there was a lot of information that probably would have been pertinent to 9/11. So they sought an affidavit for a search warrant to search the contents of that laptop. And that went to FBI headquarters, and nope, you're not going to get a search warrant for that. You have no probable cause, no reasonable suspicion even, to believe that this guy's doing anything wrong. And they tried to substantiate it by saying he's taking flight lessons, he doesn't want to learn how to land, he's, being very surreptitious in a lot of his activities. Didn't mean anything to them at headquarters. And so the request was denied, and Zacharias Moussaoui, who had information on 9/11, kept that information until after 9/11. We can't be proactive, because proactive is profiling, which means you look like a jihadist. I'm pulling you out of the line. I'm going to go through your underwear right now because you look that way.
So are we in a better place or worse place?
We're in a much worse place, because if we looked at the plot, the Algerian terrorists and what they did in '94 in France, and we looked at the Bojinka plot in the Philippines, and then we looked at 1998 when Osama bin Laden issues a fatwa in February and then blows up 2 embassies in August, and then in October 2000 when the USS Cole is blown up. Who did all those things? It was all the same people. It was all Islamic extremists, except we're not allowed to say that. We're allowed to point to individuals.
We knew who it was.
Of course.
The terrorists are smart. They're creative, and they do their homework. The soft targets in this country are still soft targets, even after all of the warnings that they've been given, all of the information that's come out since 9/11 about the potential for these types of incidents. Don't lock yourself in your house and be afraid to venture out, but be aware of the threat and have a plan of action, what you're going to do if you find yourself in that situation.
That event affected our entire country, and people got just a little bit of a taste of what it would be like to have everything stop. And they don't realize that that can happen again 10 times as bad as it happened that day.
Next time on Defending Our America.
You know, one of the things that really concerns me is the how ill-prepared Americans are for some sort of disaster to occur. And I'm not talking about, you know, some wacko doomsday prepper type stuff. I'm talking about a natural disaster or a terrorist attack.